Hello everyone, welcome back to the Glide script. And this is day 2 of the ServiceNow Scripting Series. So we are on the no code to pro code journey with the Glide script. In the previous video, I just given the introduction about the ServiceNow scripting and about the JavaScript, what is programming and why JavaScript is so essential to learn before ServiceNow scripting. In today's video, we are going to learn one of the most important topic of the JavaScript, and that is JavaScript variables and statements. And today's topic, we are going to learn these things: variables, why variables are needed, how we can declare a variable, how we can initialize the variable, and what are the JavaScript syntax, identifier, assignment operator, literals, variable naming rules and naming convention, and then what is varlet and const and how it is different from each other. So these few topics I have taken to be covered in the day 2 video. I'm not going to cover a lot of things in a single video. I will keep it simple so every beginner or every one of you can understand it easily and it will not feel overwhelming at the same time. Now before moving forward, just know about what is JavaScript statements. As you can see in this image, JavaScript program is made up of multiple statements. So if you are able to see this program, simple program, let name is equal to Rahul and age, let age is equal to 25. Forget about what is let, console and everything as of now. What I'm trying to say, you can see there are 5 lines of code is given in this example. So each line is a statement, and all these 5 statements combine together to become a program, that is JavaScript program, because it is written in JavaScript language. Output of this whole program, all statements together, is the Rahul 26. So as you can see the definition here also, the computer program is a list of instructions executed one by one. And in JavaScript, these instructions are called statements, and statements could be comment also. If you'll give a comment on this line number 6, so that will become also a statement. In the previous video, we learned about that programming is all about giving the instruction to a computer. These instructions you will give to the computer in the form of statement, and these all statements combined together become programming. So whenever you write one complete instruction in JavaScript, that instruction is called a statement. And this is the place type script platform where I will write or execute the JavaScript. Whatever I will explain in front of you, an example, I will write it here. You can use any platform, any place to execute your JavaScript. It doesn't matter. The most important thing, how you can write the program. Paper doesn't matter on which paper you are writing. You should know how to write the code. At the end, we have to write the code in our ServiceNow scripting. So these platforms doesn't matter. Ultimate goal is to become a ServiceNow developer, as I said earlier in the previous video as well. Later on, we will write or execute our programming or code inside the ServiceNow PDI. Now the next topic we are going to understand is the variables. So in the simple language, I can say that a variable is a named memory location used to store data. So as you can see, these are the memory locations. These are the separate memory locations, and employee name. That employee name is Rahul, is stored at this memory location, and this is given a random memory location. So the definition is what I said: a variable is a named memory location because there is a name for each memory and used to store data. And what will be the data? We are going to learn it. Here it is Rahul. So let me write the JavaScript statement. If I can write var employee name is equal to Rahul. Okay. So this is the declaration of a variable. In the JavaScript, variables value can be changed during the runtime as well. Maybe in the next line or next programming, in the later programming, this Rahul's become John, this Rahul become Peter, anyone else. The value could be changed. The value stored inside this variable, this is the variable name, employee name, can be read whenever we need it. And depending on how the variable is declared, that value can also be changed later, as I said. In one word or two words, you can say that variable stores information. So I want to make it more simple by again giving an example, daily life example. You can see this picture clearly. There is a parking lot. Parking lot name is given P101. Today, the car A is parked here, as you can see here. Tomorrow, car A leaves, or after some time, car A will leave, and car B occupies the same parking slot. The parking slot did not change, only the vehicle changed. So a variable works in exactly the same way. The variable name remains the same and value stored inside it can change. I hope you got it, what I am trying to say. So what is the, if I'll compare it with the parking slot is the variable and car is the value. A parking slot number is the variable name and vehicle can change, that is value. So I hope you understood what is variable. I made it very clear for a complete beginner even can understand what is variable now. Now you can see that I have written this line where employee name is equal to Rahul. So now listen carefully. What is this where? Or it could be let or const. As of now, just see it is where. It is a declaration keyword. And the employee name is the identifier known as identifier. And you can say this is the variable name. And then is equal to assignment operator. And then whatever name is given here or whatever value is given here is the literal, known as literal, and it's the value. As you can see the image, in this image also, this is the variable declaration keyword and this is the employee name is the identifier and this is the assignment operator. So now after this line, the value of employee name becomes Rahul. So whenever we call in our later part of the programming, by whatever method we learn employee name, it means you are taking the value Rahul. Understood it? And this semicolon, you can ask why we are writing semicolon at the end of every line statement. Semicolon marks the end of the JavaScript statement. At the end of each statement, you need to write the semicolon. If you not write it, then also the programming and your script will run, but it is a best practice to write semicolon at the end of the each statement. Now we will learn what is declaration and what is initialization. So let's understand both first. On the next line, if I write where let employee name, so until here let employee name, this is called declaration. We have not initialized yet, only declared the variable. The variable has been created but no value has been assigned yet as of now at this point. Then if I write here employee name is equal to Rahul. Okay, so this is known as initialization. Now we have assigned a value to this variable employee name. Initially the name is given Rahul, that's why it is known as initialization. And one more thing, I have written Rahul or string in a single quotes. You can write in double quotes as well. You can write in single quote and double quote. If in the same line of the programming there is a conflict between single quote and double quote, at that time you will have to be careful, and I will show you how you can manage those things as well. As of now, just understand it. You can write it in a single or double quote, doesn't matter. It will works in both cases. Now at the next line, what I will do, I will combine both these two. What I write the comment, how you can write the comment. This is declaration. If I'll write it declaration, and at this point I write initialization. So this is declaration and this is initialization. Now I will combine this declaration and initialization together to make a statement. So what it will become, where employee name is equal to Rahul. Okay. So what it became? It becomes statement. I hope you got it. Let's understand the variable naming rules or naming convention. How you can give the variable name. See, I have written it employee name here. This is the variable name. So always follow the best practice, follow the naming convention rule to define a variable. So as we learned that this is the identifier. All JavaScript identifiers are case sensitive. So for example, if I'll write here first name, first name, first name, and then the second first name. These two are different. These two cannot be the same. Always follow the camel casing to define a variable name. Don't give hyphens. It is not accepted, not allowed in JavaScript, and they are reserved for subtractors. For example, if you write this first name, it is not allowed. See, you cannot find variable in this way. If I write here where, you cannot define, because this hyphen is reserved. So reserved characters you cannot use to define the variables. If you want to write in this way, you can use underscore. It is allowed. First name, last name, you can define it like this. MasterCard, like this. Master and card, you can define in this way. You can use the upper camel case. How you can use this? Like first name, first name. This is upper camel case. So in this way you can define. Then lower camel case. Most of the developers follow this lower camel case. How? First name. This is lower camel case. And always give the meaningful name. Whenever you will write a program or in ServiceNow platform, always follow the naming convention. Give the meaningful name. Don't write XYZ. I have seen many of the developers writing XYZ, variable defining XYZ, especially those who are learning, especially when we are going for the interview. That time, if you will define where ABC or where XYZ, X is equal to something, and each and everything is noticed during interview. And it means you are not following the best practice. You are not following the naming convention to define the variable. So always try to give the meaningful name. If I'll say in the context of ServiceNow programming, how I can define the variable following the lower camel case. If I'll have to define the employee name, I will write employee name. Then I will write incident number. I'm not writing it here to save the time. Then caller name, I will write assignment group, short description. Don't write for the assignment group AG. Don't write short for the short description SD. I have seen many developers, the one who is learning ServiceNow scripting, use shortcut where SD is equal to XYZ or something. Don't do this. Write proper short description like this. Short description in this way. This is the best practice. And also your code will become clean. JavaScript actually provides 3 ways to declare variables. That is var, let, and const. So let's understand what is the difference between these 3. So var, first the var, I will take the example of var. This is the older way of declaring variables. It is still works, and most of the time in the ServiceNow, we will use the var. You will often see it in the older JavaScript code and sometimes in older ServiceNow scripts. Nowadays in ServiceNow, let is allowed to use, but before var was only supporting in the ServiceNow. And let is the modern way of declaring the variables whose values may be changed later. In most situations, this is the keyword you will use in JavaScript. And const is used when the value should not be changed after it assigned. As you can see here, I have declared a variable, the company name, with the const keyword and given the value the glide script. Later part in the programming, if I want to reassign this variable name with the another company name, it is not accepted and it will throw error. So this is the table to just make it clear, var, let, and const. So you can just go through it. And I hope this comparison is enough to understand the difference between these 3, let, var, and const. So I think that's all for today's session. I don't want to cover more topics in a single video. I'll keep it simple so anyone can understand it. So today we learned what JavaScript statements are, how variables are declared, why it is needed, what is variables, how to declare, how to initialize, the syntax of variable, identifiers, assignment operators, literals, naming rules, naming conventions, upper and lower camel casing, and the basic difference between var, let, and const. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.